Shabbat Shalom and welcome to our Torah conversation. A quick reminder, this coming week on Thursday, April 19th, we will all be celebrating Israel's 70th birthday, Yom HaAtzmaut, Yom Holedet Sameach Israel. Happy birthday, Israel. Our Sedra this week, as we struggle to get back on a normative Sedra track after two very disruptive weekends with Pesach at both ends, Leviticus 11 and following, the latter parts of the Sedra known as Shmini. We are looking here, Leviticus 11, we are looking here at one of the primary sources in the Torah, the beginning foundation of the rules of Kashrut, kosher, that which is fit, proper for Jews to eat. Okay, so let's begin today with a very well-known French quote. French. Dis-moi ce que tu manges, je te dirai ce que tu es. Tell me what you eat, and I will tell you what you are. That famous statement is attributed to a French lawyer, Jean Savarin, in 1755. Savarin is also famous for having said, "The discovery of a new dish confers more happiness on humanity than the discovery of a new star." Close quote. Wow. Now think about the original French quote for a moment. And think back to what you had this past Wednesday evening for dinner. Tell me what you had, what you ate for dinner. Then, according to the quote, I can tell an awful lot about the person you are. At least for the French, literally, food is very, very important, perhaps even more important than discovering the secrets of the stars. Another quote about food. Do you know where this teaching comes from? Quote, "What goes into the mouth does not make a person unclean, but it is what comes out of the mouth that defiles a person." Who said it? Yes, you're right. Matthew 15:11, Jesus is addressing a crowd and telling that no matter how important the laws of Kashrut are, what we say is far more important than what we eat. If I were to quote a Chabad response to the teaching in Matthew, I would reference the following quote. "The Creator desired a world where we creatures would have a choice to connect with God or to go our own messy way. God conceived of us as creatures who consume food, and that would be one of the areas where we would have this choice. So, if that's so, there are going to have to be animals that God doesn't want us to eat and animals that we may eat. And so, Kashrut is here to help us on the path toward mindfulness in our relationship with God." Remember, it's a Chabad statement, "and with our world." Each act of eating should bring us closer to that mindfulness. Thus, a modern response to the text in Matthew. So we now know cheeseburgers are out, but hallelujah, brisket, thank God, is in, tuna fish too. The Reform movement's position has been defined as follows. The laws of Kashrut offer a Jewish spiritual discipline that is rooted in the concrete choices and details of daily life, to be practiced in an area that seems very mundane. In fact, part of the beauty, this is still the Reform statement, part of the beauty of Kashrut is that regardless of our age, personal interest, geographic location, we all eat. And most of us do so several times a day. A spiritual discipline around eating is one that carries the clear message that spirituality is far more than what we do in the synagogue and on holidays. It extends into every area of our life, every single day, close quote. Thus, for the Reform movement in general, spiritual discipline is the key. But the elements of that discipline is something that each of us must determine for himself or herself. Now, here is a quick guide to what is kosher. I'm going to get rid of the cat for a moment. Thank you. and I mentioned food, and she's here. What is fit for us to eat? Land animals must have cloven hooves and chew their cud. Sea-dwelling animals must have fins and scales. Shellfish and whales are therefore not kosher. Predatory birds are not kosher. Eggs from kosher birds are kosher. Fish are parve, neither meat nor dairy. Mixing meat and milk is forbidden. Thus, again, cheeseburgers lose out. I'm not obsessed. I just like cheeseburgers. Then there are some interesting questions. What about turkey? According to many rabbis, animals have to be listed by name in the Torah to be either kosher or non-kosher, whatever. Turkey was not known in the ancient Middle East, kosher or not kosher. Kosher. Pigs are not only not kosher and exceedingly treif, meaning non-kosher, but they are also scorned for being deceptive. They run around on cloven hooves, but they don't chew their cud. They look kosher, but they're not really kosher. What about insects? Thankfully, most insects are treif. But for Middle Eastern Jews, some locusts are kosher. Good news, no crickets are ever kosher. Swordfish is considered not kosher by Orthodox decisors, but it is permitted by many conservative authorities and frowned upon by many of those who worry about our environment and disappearing species of fish. Blood never to be eaten. So please make certain that you cook that liver into shoe leather. Very important. And in this whole discussion, I do want to make place for vegans. Certainly there is a huge place. There is a great discipline, and the meat and the milk parts would not apply. And all of this is just the beginning. The laws of cooking, cleaning, preparing foods are extremely difficult and detailed. There is also the added feature of something which is called marit, from the ro'eh, marit ayin, what the eye sees. In other words, bad appearances. You should not sit in a non-kosher restaurant with an orange, peel the orange, and eat it there. By being seen in such a place, you give a false impression. That's marit ayin, and that's forbidden. So what's going on here with all of these laws? And believe me, we have only touched the very surface. Maimonides, who was almost right in everything he says, claimed that there is a huge benefit for health if you follow the laws of Kashrut. And good health, Maimonides says, is a basic need that must be met before one can strengthen one's spiritual life. Abarbanel directly challenged Maimonides on this and said that the Torah is not at all a book about physical health, leading a healthy life. And besides, Abarbanel points out, pretty reasonable, many peoples eat what Jews consider to be forbidden foods, and they seem quite healthy. Abarbanel's position is the majority position among all Jewish teachers. For whatever else we're talking about, Kashrut was not instituted for health reasons. The subject, though extremely worthy, is too complicated for our very brief Shabbat conversation. But let me lay out some of the rationales that guide my life. And please, I really do welcome your comments, suggestions, bitter criticisms, sharp critique on my positions. Email, send them. Being a Jew in an overwhelmingly non-Jewish world, I embrace some traditions that daily remind me of who I am and from whence I came. Observing aspects of Kashrut keeps me a little bit apart, and I like that. Next, holiness is a scary word, but I embrace certain practices that remind me that I am not here to despoil the world, to take what I want, to place my human desires above all other concerns. Not everything is mine. I am not sovereign in this universe. I am a creature like other creatures, but I can rise above my creatureliness by imposing some self-discipline. Kashrut allows me to rise above my creatureliness. Moderate discipline is a good thing. The art of learning to think before one eats is a discipline that is simple but very important. Think about whether you can or cannot, should or should not eat that item. It's a simple but very important way also to model for our kids lessons about life. Not everything is there for them to take. And finally, I really do believe that having a personal, positive relationship with some aspects of Kashrut links me to my people and to my past. We Jews have been doing things like this for thousands of years. Yes, I am selective. I do make informed choices. Others will make other choices, and I have no need whatsoever, nor the right whatsoever, to judge those choices. I embrace aspects of Kashrut for all kinds of reasons that are important to me. My reasons are usually rational, but not always. And that fits because I am usually rational, but not always. Kashrut is an ancient doorway leading to some very positive affirmations. And I am comfortable there. That's it. We can't go on other than taking another 6 months. So have a wonderful Yom HaAtzmaut. Maybe you will want to think about what you'll be eating Thursday on Yom HaAtzmaut or any other day. I invite you through that doorway. Whatever you choose, choose carefully, choose wisely. But while you're choosing, please choose to hit the button that says share. Okay? Shabbat Shalom. Be well, my friends.